Dr. Betts, your closing remarks, sir?
Well, actually, quite honestly, and I think the four people I mentioned in the back, we can all say we're from the government and we're here to help, and I think we do. You know, it's, I think, you know, public health as an entity does a lot that just isn't visible in the community, whether you're turning on a tap and getting clean water or getting protected from vaccine preventable diseases or having to, you know, buckle up when you drive. You know, there are many of you in this room that through our efforts in public health are here now that would not have been here if it not been for those efforts. The problem we have in public health is when we save somebody, when we're really doing our job, all we have to show for it is nothing. That's what we want. I mean, public health, from our perspective, is keeping healthy people healthy. We are very concerned and want to work with any groups that are raising issues and concerns about what we do, so how we can better protect the community. But these mandated laws for like school age vaccinations are done for a reason, and they work. So we're committed to doing this. We also feel that this needs to be done in an active public forum, such as what we have here today. I'd like to say something about seasonal flu, because I keep hearing, well, this H1N1 isn't it as bad as seasonal flu. Seasonal flu is bad. In the United States, 36,000 people die each year of seasonal flu-related events. And it translates to about 3,000 or 4,000 Texans. That's the equivalent of the number of Texans that are dying as a result of motor vehicle crashes or homicides. And collectively, seasonal flu causes more deaths than all our other vaccine-preventable illnesses combined. And so when you talk about it's just like seasonal flu, I think that we need to be aware that seasonal flu is not an innocuous thing. That many of us are going to die in Texas as a result of that. I think one of the best spin-offs of this H1N1 situation is that a lot of people have gone ahead and gotten the seasonal flu vaccine, what they wouldn't normally do, and I think that's going to have a major impact on saving lives. You know, I think we can have these kinds of discussions. I think it's important that we have them, but also keep in mind, I think we're all after the same thing. We want healthy communities. We want our children to be grow up healthy and have productive lives. And you know, certainly we're not interested in introducing any toxins or poisons that are going to adversely affect it. These are our kids too. I mean, we have the same goals in life. We want to make this a better community, a better society, and I think collectively one of the ways we do that is by having these type of discussions where we can go back and forth, where both sides feel like they have points to make, and hopefully there'll be some kind of common ground where we can work these things out. But you know, again, I feel in some ways proud for us to say we're from the government, and I think we do help.
Thank you, Dr. Betts. Dr. Tenpenny.
Isn't it interesting that vaccination requires a debate? Would we even need a forum to discuss an antibiotic or an antihypertensive medication if there was evidence that that drug was causing harm? Officials seem to have almost a desperate need to defend the current belief system around the perceived effectiveness of vaccines. Vaccines are rarely removed from the market, even when tens of thousands of reported side effects, some that are serious, some that are even deadly. Vaccination has been accepted as safe, effective, and protective. The shots can be described as a medical sacred cow, which is a medical procedure that is unreasonably immune to criticism. Doctors and patients who question vaccines are ridiculed and marginalized. It is heresy to say that the status quo just might be wrong. Vaccine adverse events are considered rare, so when reactions occur, steps are taken to negate the association. Patients are discredited, parents are dismissed. Doctors subject very sick persons to thousands of dollars of inconclusive medical tests rather than simply just blaming the illness on the vaccine. Would we do that if a person reacted to penicillin or Paxil or any other drug? The government's view of germs seems to be similar to our current view of terrorism, random attacks that can be deadly. All parties involved in mass vaccination seem to view infection, particularly influenza and this new swine flu, in that way. Tens of millions of dollars have been spent on national advertising campaigns and even Sesame Street merchandising to convince us that flu shots are necessary to keep us well, even keep us alive. After nearly 2,000 years, fear still sells vaccination. But what do we really know about vaccines? A review of the medical literature and CDC documents reveal 5 salient points. Number 1, vaccine studies and clinical trials are relatively small and only include healthy participants. Once approved, vaccines are given to everyone, regardless of their health condition, their family, or their genetics. Number 2, vaccine safety studies are short. Clinical trials frequently monitor side effects for only 5 days. Reactions to the new swine flu vaccine were followed for only 21 days before the vaccine was declared to be safe for all. These arbitrary cutoffs were set years ago by the FDA and drug companies. Safe is a designation based on limited information. Number 3, vaccine safety studies don't use true placebos. The gold standard in medical research is the placebo-controlled trial, giving a sugar pill to a control group and then comparing the new product for safety. In vaccine trials, the control group is not given an inert substance. It's given a shot, such as a shot of sterile saline. The control group is injected with the vaccine with a known safety profile. This isn't an inert substance. And while this may be acceptable for research, concluding a new vaccine is as safe as a placebo or as the placebo that was given is deceptive science for both the patient and the doctor. Number 4, safety concerns about vaccines are more than theoretical. The U.S. government has awarded almost $2 billion through the Vaccine Injury Compensation Program to injured persons. With vaccines now potentially becoming mandatory for schools and for adults and across the country, the real costs of unnecessary medical workups and the true risk-benefit of vaccines need to be critically overhauled. And number 5, vaccine-induced antibodies do not correlate with protection. The esteemed medical journal Vaccine clearly stated, quote, "It is known that in many instances antibody titers do not correlate with protection." And even the new Novartis package inserts for the swine flu vaccine admits, quote, "Antibody titers that develop after vaccination have not been correlated with protection from influenza illnesses." After 200 years with our many advances in science, you would think that someone could develop a method to protect babies and adults from infectious disease other than injecting them with animal cells, stray viruses, and toxic chemicals. How can this be called harmless? Even more, why do we call this health and prevention? I want to thank everyone that's involved in putting this forum together for the university here at the University of Texas. I want to specifically thank Dr. Betts for doing this. I think this is an amazing thing for a public health official to come and do this debate. I think airing both sides and letting people know that there's a difference of opinion and both people have studied opinions and are very much what you said in your conclusion, that we're both about the best interests of our populations. And letting the people decide for themselves is what our constitutional republic was set up to do. I look forward to continuing this discussion on drtenpenny.com, on Facebook, and hopefully another debate sometime in the future with Dr. Betts. Thank you all.
Thank you. For participating in this very meaningful discussion. I think it was great. I especially want to thank Mr. Pierre de Rosemont for his vision, for his vision to have this vaccine education forum, and for his tireless work that made it happen.
It wasn't alone.